my gosh, I had a great guest, Duriel Taylor. He's a commercial broker, top 20 under 40 in Miami, and he does residential too, but he's got some great tips in here. He does big commercial projects in the Miami area, but spans out 120. He said he'll go anywhere in the state. So if you go and know anybody that's looking for a commercial property with big buildings like data centers and stuff like that, he's your guy, great referral partner, but also full of great nuggets throughout the whole podcast that I hope that you'll listen to and benefit from.
Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Byrnes empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and I have my favorite guest here, Duriel Taylor, and we're going to get a little understanding of how a man becomes top 20 under 40. All right, so Duriel, tell us a story about you, buddy.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm truly honored. I'm truly appreciative of this opportunity, and I'm nervous here, right, for a moment, because you said your favorite guest. I don't know how many guests you had, but if I'm your favorite, then this
60.
might be the first episode for you. Oh my goodness, 60? All right now. All right. Okay. I'm honored. So thank you for having me as well. In terms of my backstory, so I'll give you the most boring but quick bio, right? Born and raised in Miami. I've been in this wonderful industry now 18 years, 8 days, 4 hours, and 2 minutes now. My family comes from a long line of commercial development and asset management. And in high school and college, my aunt, she ran a relatively successful asset and development firm. It was a Fortune 200 company. And instead of going to, school dances, the beach and all those things, I had to learn cap rate, had to learn P&L statements. I had to learn what a rent roll is. I had to learn building materials and coding. I had to go with guys that did the grant writing, the permit runnings as well. So it accelerated my career moving forward, in my late 20s to where, now I'm in late 20s now, don't judge me, but it accelerated my career now to where I sit on the board of Miami Association of Realtors. I'm also a state director to where I go to Tallahassee and advocate for our licensed professionals and our residents here in the beautiful state of Florida. My day-to-day, I do 70% commercial, 30% residential. My specialty in terms of commercial is warehouses, medical facilities, shopping malls, and the new shiny toy, data centers, and multifamily. So anything over 10 units. And that's my spiel.
That's awesome. Well, boy, your aunt was giving you a gift in life because she certainly put you on a path for success.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't, hey, let's go have coffee and talk, bro. It was do this. And it wasn't, why. It was straight to the point. She was military too. So it was
military.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what? I love working with military people only because they are so disciplined. They're so focused. They're so disciplined. They get the job done.
Agreed. They know what they want.
Yeah.
They know what they want from day one instead of, I like the shiny handle. I like the red door. No, they know they want a price point. They know what they want to pay. They know what area. They know what school district. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So whether you liked it or not, I'll bet she saw a bigger picture for you.
Yeah. I think she definitely is proud, and I try to make my family proud, my mother proud, my brother with special needs. So I just try to walk out the door with a grateful heart, because this industry, I don't care what HGTV and Instagram tells you, all realtors are not billionaires. Sorry. Sorry to tell you.
I wish.
Yeah. It is a tedious journey. It really is.
It is. I was just talking to somebody about a new agent, got her license. She's all excited and she's trying to join a team. Lots of teams don't want new agents to train. Yeah. Because 80% of them leave within the first 2 years. And I was just talking with another agent, and I said, you do the disc profile. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said, you do the disc profile before you decide to take someone on your team, especially a new agent. And they said, absolutely, because it's a game changer. So you can kind of tell especially if you do the Tony Robbins disc profile off his site
Correct.
free, because it's got the values on there as well, right? So
Yep.
you just start to feel, and if they are somebody that's going to take off, that's a good process for them to know, because they're learning personality styles as well, because we all have different
Correct.
needs. An engineer
Correct.
makes me crazy. You and I are
Yeah.
very opposites, and yet I feel like you're an IC, because you
Yep.
are very detailed, and I'm a skimmer and bottom line. I
Mhm.
need that detail person in my life to organize me. But understanding all that when you start to work with an agent. So I see how you got on that path. And did that influence you to be able to have clients right away? Were you able to build client relationships from that?
It built my ability to identify opportunity with her.
Mm.
You know, you'll meet or you get referrals from a relative who wants to give you your first business. You know, hey, cuz, or hey, aunt, you know, yeah, I'm looking to buy my first X, Y, and Z. But my underwriting, when it comes to, I don't care if it's my grandmother, I don't care if it's the NFL player, I try to get understanding of what I call it the real, the REE. I try to understand the realistic goals, their
Mm.
experience, and their expectations. So once
Mm.
I have that in a nutshell, I can pretty much determine if I'm willing to work with them, because this is a two-way street. You know, I don't work for you, they don't work for me. So I try to understand if it's something that's going to be worth, and I always identify that it's worth your time as the client, not me, right? I don't want to feel like I'm egotistical, waste my time. I try to make sure it's worth their time, because I want to give them the best version of me, not somebody that's just looking for commission. I want them to
Right.
truly understand the process. I want them to truly understand and be willing to ask questions versus just, oh, he's the agent, he's going to tell me what to do. No, I like them to understand the process. I give them PDFs, I give them emails, I give them data. So throughout the process, they have a reference. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
did tell me it's going to be 2%. Oh yeah, he did tell me the HOA fee is going to take 30 days. So he did tell me that the title company is going to require these wire instructions, last 4 digits or whatever. So I try to make sure they have something of reference, not just sign this, review this, call me tomorrow, text me now. I don't work that way.
Yeah. I love that. I love that a lot. Well, see, there's a lot of discipline right within that. And you're
Yeah.
teaching your clients how to work with you. That's an
That is the
important
most
part,
important
right?
part. Yep.
I know when I'm on a listing appointment, tell them, I said, you're interviewing me and I'm interviewing you. We got to see that this is a partnership here. And I believe in that strongly, because sometimes I just told an agent today, I said, fire this client. Do not take this on. This is not a path you want to go. The person was already grumpy, didn't want to listen to the price, didn't want to do any of the stuff. And it was someone that she cared about, said, this is a nightmare about to happen. Tell them to get somebody else to do that property listed. I said, even if you need it, walk away, because there are different deals that don't make sense to go forward on. You agree?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. In our business, if this is your full time, you typically see, oh, man, the light bills are due tomorrow. The credit card statements, the gas, the sum toll here in Florida. Our tolls, we pay for our main highways to use, and oh, that's due tomorrow. But you know, oftentimes the backstory of missing commission is sometimes better than the headache to where you can't get new clients. So if I'm a very energetic type of person. I am detailed and data driven, but when I go outside, I like to, you know, brighten somebody's day, say hello, make a joke or two. But if I have a client or a situation that's bogging my brain, it's going to be very difficult for me to perform at my peak when I'm out and
Yes.
about, when I'm dealing with a client who's, you know,
Wasting
special.
our time.
I
Yeah,
would call them
special.
special. Very
He's
special.
nicer
Yes,
than
ma'am.
me.
Very special.
Very special. I know I had a situation years ago, and I was broke, man. I had a business partner, and we had gotten a listing for their waterfront lot, and it
Mhm.
was during probably that 2008 to 10 era where nothing's selling, right? And it was a
Mhm.
garbage lot, mud out front. It wasn't really good waterfront in the slightest, down at the back of a cove. So anyway, I was listed for around 100,000, and he wanted us to get 1,000 foot rope with a giant helium type balloon at the top so that people could see it from way away, and they would. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. I said, and we were there to list his house, which was around
Right.
350, and
Mhm.
just to update him on the property that no, there was no results. Yes, we were marketing it, but the market wasn't moving. Here's the validation, blah blah blah. I gave him all the facts and
Right.
started to talk about the house. And he
Mhm.
takes the paperwork. First of all, he was cranky, very cranky guy. I don't like cranky people. He was insulting
Mhm.
to his wife. I don't like that either. And I'm there with my business partner who's from Long Island, and she's used to a tone that's different than
Right.
I'm used to, right? And
Mhm.
so he takes the paperwork and shoves it across the table. He goes, "This isn't going to work." And I go, "Hell no, it's not going to work." I said, "I don't want to work with someone with a disposition like yours." And he goes,
Correct.
"Get out of my house." I said, "Gladly." So I get up, I'm going out the door. He slams it behind me while my partner's still sitting there and looks at the wife. She goes, "Well, I guess we're not going to do business anymore." She goes, and the wife, I think, said, "You're probably going to have to give termination papers on that lot." And I'm thinking, my partner comes out to the car and she goes, "What happened in there?" And I said, "Patty, I don't want to work with jerks like that." I said, I need the money." She didn't. I said, "I need the
Mhm.
money." I said, "But
Yeah,
life is too short to work with
absolutely.
people that they're unreasonable." That was an
Yeah.
unreasonable request. And
Yep.
he didn't like it. I don't know if it was my tone or whatever, but we were a clash. And please, we find somebody else. I hope they sell
Yeah.
your house. I'll try and bring you a buyer.
Yeah.
But
No, people are extremely special when they feel that they have authority over you as a licensed professional.
yeah,
And I make it very, very clear day one, I do not work for you. And and on the other side, you don't work for me. So I'm not instructing you. This is a partnership. Nothing is
yes,
gained until
we're
this
a
is
team.
traded.
Yeah,
No one in this deal gets what they want until it closes. So to have a disposition of anger or a passive aggression, it doesn't help anybody. You calling me 4 o'clock in the morning about property taxes, it's not going to make this house sell any more faster than you called me at reasonable hours. So people are special.
and I
That's all
think
I can
that's
say.
something important for agents to understand. You don't have to be a slave out there because
Yep.
sometimes, in the beginning, you're so eager to get that next sale, and you're maybe hungry too. But the
Yep.
truth is, you do yourself such a disservice when you don't have a standard of quality that you're willing to do, and have in your business, because it is a business, right?
Agreed. No, it is definitely a business. You couldn't call Warren Buffett at 4 o'clock in the morning asking about stocks, right? You have to go to the proper channels or emails. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd say to clients that I mentor, people that ask me questions, I tell them all the time, value yourself as a store.
Mm-hmm.
People come in your store, have a standard, what they can do, what they can't do. A 4-year-old goes into your Nike store, go to buy shoes. You won't let him just tear down the whole rack. You're going to say, hey, listen, these are the hours. Please be mindful, be respectful, and I'll do the same. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, my name, my value, my business is more important than this one transaction. I'm here to
Yes.
do multiple deals in this business, not just your transaction. And, you don't say it bluntly, but, professionally and politically speaking, there's ways to
Right.
make sure you put your foot down as a person and as a business owner, because you are a business owner.
Right. So tell me about the commercial end of things. So you blend the two. How would you say for agents who are thinking, I like the idea of the non-emotional part of commercial because residential is clearly emotional. You tell me if commercial is not. I just saw your eyes bug. Are you telling me that commercial is emotional?
Commercial, I think real estate in a whole is the most emotional business in the planet,
Yeah.
right? Because the seller believes his property or her property is valued more than what the market is bearing, even in today's climate, right?
Yes.
So a seller's never going to say, oh, yeah, I'll give you 30%. I'll give you 40%. They know what they either spent or acquired that property, what debt service they have, all that stuff. So I would say commercial is actually more emotional, but it's more logical than
Oh,
residential. And the
interesting.
reason I say this is because you'll have two millionaires say, okay, I just want, for example, I'm working with two sides right now where they're two multimillionaires, right? And all I need them to do is agree to a date and time to talk on the phone. One guy wants the selling side. He wants to know what the buyer does for a living. I told the seller, I said, well, listen, I can give you a buying profile, which simply is what they're in, but not who they are for
Mhm.
confidentiality reasons. Buying side, he says, well, if this guy's want all this information from me, why can't he just look at on Google and see that I purchased this? So I said, obviously, I didn't disclose your exact name, your business, but if you're clear with that, then let's just do it and we meet and it's $50 million. So commercial is more logical from an economic standpoint. This is my cap rate. This is my per square footage. This is my X, Y, and Z. This is the depreciation, blah, 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 blah. So they understand that. They understand the commission side. They understand what it's going to cost to get that across the table to facilitate the transaction. Residential, that's where it's emotional, but not as emotional as commercial, right? So on the residential
Hmm.
side, the individuals will say, okay, they don't know the economics behind it. They just know, Oh, Lisa down the street just sold her house for $40,000 a foot. Tanya just bought her house, and I saw her on Instagram, and she posted that she just sold her house in 2 days. Why you can't sell it for 2 days? Right? So it's emotional across the board, but the logic of it, okay, where was Lisa? Can you see the deed that it traded for that, what she stated online? Because of course, nobody lies on social media. For me, I think commercials is more emotional, but it's more logical. And I think residential is emotional as well, but it's less logical.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Dude, that just burst my bubble. Not that I was switching.
Right.
I always thought, man, I should have gone into commercial because I struggle with patience when people are non-reasonably emotional,
Yeah,
like the
100%.
balloon. I struggle with that. If it's logical, okay, but if it's not logical, I struggle with your mindset, and I do
Hmm.
my best. The truth is, that's why that profile is so good to learn about the different personality styles and how to meet where they're
Sure,
at. I just
sure.
love that so much.
Yeah.
So,
I think in commercial, I mean to cut you off, I think in commercial, it's an easy transition once you get them to at least communicate. And in my
mhm,
scenario, in terms of a conference call, that's different. But once you say, hey, this is where the seller is, this is what the market is. Hey, buyer, this is where the market is what they, where we should make an offer. It's pretty easy, smooth selling at that point from an underwriting standpoint, and then get to
mhm,
close a sizable deal. It's not a 30-day transaction. Some deals take
right.
years, some deals take months, some deals take centuries. Well, not centuries, but maybe a decade if it's a sizable deal, nine figures and above. So if you can get through that red tape, it's a beautiful side on the other side, but you still have to have a supplement as a licensed professional. You can't rely on just every 30 days you're going to get commission. And that's where I think I made my initial hiccup coming into the industry. But, it's still fun. I love what I do from a real estate perspective. I love the business of real estate.
Yeah, yeah. I was just interviewing another guy who does primarily land, and we were talking about, I said, I know an agent locally, and she did a huge deal that involved Costco. I said, but I
Mm,
said, I think that took over 10 years. And it was a big deal when she finally got paid. But fortunately, she wasn't counting on that big paycheck to support her the 10 years prior. So there's a lot to it. And she did a lot of residential as well. She worked, I mean, the town was against the Costco that was going to be on that property. So people
mm,
fought it, and through all the different channels that it went through, then the zoning, then all of that. So I think if somebody was going to do commercial where they were going to blend it, I'm almost thinking it makes more sense to do the 4+ units, the 5 unit, like a whatever part. I've never done it, so I don't even know.
So commercials identified 5 units or more. So at four
5 units.
units or less, it's still considered residential,
Gotcha.
especially with FHA guidelines. So if someone wanted to blend the two, if that's the direction of the question, I would say start with leasing commercial properties under a broker that has traded before. Because similar
Mhm.
to residential leasing for rental purposes in the residential space, it gives you the exposure without giving you the risk of failing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense? So when it comes to leasing, now land leasing is different, but we're talking just leasing office space
Right.
or an office building is typically a easier transaction than a purchase commercial property because again, you go through the rings with commercial leasing agreement with commercial is a little bit easier. So if someone wanted to start in the commercial or even do a hybrid of the two, I would definitely say start with leasing commercial property first under an individual that has experience with
And
selling
you would
and
tell them
leasing.
to go get the certification for commercial, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you definitely have to have some underwriting perspective. And I also would say from the supplementary standpoint, as a licensed realtor, we don't make $100 million every day. ATV has done a horrible job to explain that. But to the
Yeah.
point, I think if you invest yourself, you know how to look at deals and give that information off the back of your hand for a client that's in that space if you want to do commercial.
Mhm.
Similar to residential, if you purchased your house before, here in Florida, we have homestead, right? You know how much it should cost for your utilities. You know how much your closing costs should be. You know how much your taxes should be. So all those things you can get from a life experience standpoint versus just something you read off of line, right? Or in
Right,
class. So I
right.
think if you're going to invest as an agent, it gives you the duality of creating income for yourself in the months where, you don't have that many transactions. And then secondarily, it gives you a more of a deep level conversation with your pending clients to where you can tell them what they should and should not look for.
Right. Now, in the residential market that you're in Miami, That's usually a pretty high price point. Is that what you work in?
Yeah, so I cover Port St. Lucie down to Miami-Dade. So that's 114 miles on the southeast side of Florida. But if there's dirt in this beautiful state and you need me to fly or walk to Tampa, which is 4.5 hours from where I am, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll go wherever the deal takes us.
So from a commercial perspective or a residential?
Has to be commercial. Nah, no.
I was going to say,
Yeah, no, we're talking a condo in Port St. Lucie, bro. But if we're talking you want a data center in Bonita Springs, which I traded before in the past, then yeah, I'll just take a weekend or I take a day or two and just go to Bonita Springs and we'll work it out.
okay, that makes more sense to me because I was thinking you drive all the way up there just for like a residential deal.
Not necessarily.
That's out. I agree because I like to stay in my territory if I'm doing residential and I would rather refer it out. But a specialist like you who understands that type of thing, if I had that opportunity, man, I'm probably still going to refer it to you because that's your specialty. It's not my strength. And I think that's an important thing to talk about. Somebody comes to you and they got this opportunity, they're not going to do business with you anyway. So you might as well refer it to somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Correct. I would say the younger agent in the field under 5 years, don't take it personal when clients don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
It's not, I would say 90% of the clients that you meet typically won't get to table. Not your fault, not something you said. I mean, granted, you have to be very mindful of how you present yourself and what you say. There are always ways to present information. It's not just 1+1 is 2. There's a way to say what 1+2 to get to. But I think a lot of agents get discouraged. Number one, when they don't have a lot of commission coming in. And then number two, when they called 100 people and those 100 people won't meet with them, won't call them back, won't send an email, won't sign their buyer's agreement, won't get them supporting documents they need to get pre-approved. And I tell you personally, I wore my heart on my sleeve at the beginning of my career and oh, why didn't she call me? Why did he use this other agent? Just people are people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
People are people.
I'm not a fan of cold calling at all. I know that's contrary to a lot of like a Mike Ferry mindset. I'm a relationship builder. I believe in networking on steroids and networking from a giving perspective. Giver's gain. You know, let me help you. What can I do to help you? Where can we grow that way? And build those relationships so that you've now earned their trust to now want to give you a shot.
Agreed. One of my sayings to a lot of my peers, I say, generate so you don't have to tolerate.
Yes.
So I love cold calling because it takes me out of my comfort zone. I don't enjoy it, similar to doing squats or lifting weights all day. But the other side, when I'm ready for the beach, I'm looking good. Right. And the other side of getting deals done, you get comfort because I heard 100 no's now, and it's that 1% that can change the trajectory of my career and my pipeline.
Yeah. Well, you're tougher than me. I don't like no. So I take rejection very personally.
I have a philosophy with that, right? I think men, in the most part, right, we build a callus from always pursuing women. You don't always get the woman that pursued throughout your entirety of your life, right? No guy is batting 100. Women, on the other hand, you guys, especially beautiful women like yourself, you guys get out the door is always like open the door, the card, all that stuff for you. So it's a different experience that women go through. I believe that when you hear no or you don't get a call back, it's like, well, why did
Okay,
I got my eyebrows, my hairs. Like, why did this bastard call me back? But for us, it's like, oh, well, okay, well, he wasn't interested in terms of real estate. Oh, he wasn't interested. Then we just move on, right? So
Yeah.
I that's my philosophy on why, not necessarily why men are more callous to rejection. I just think throughout our lives, we probably had a little bit more experience.
More training. Any last minute tips for our group here?
I just say show up. And my word that I have plastered everywhere. I got a green screen. I can't show you now, but my number one word is execute. At the end of the day, if you set a plan, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, if you want to do something, just execute.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times in our industry, we have this book of things we want to do, we want to say, we want to post. Just do it.
Yeah.
People are going to judge you. People are going to hate you. People are going to make fun of you. But if you just show up, trust me, it will turn. It will turn.
Yeah. I tell my kids, be like a duck. Let it just roll off your back.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, this is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate having you on here. And we're going to have all his information so you can reach out to him and he'll get you all those commercial buildings for you. And I know he'll do a good job.
Yes, ma'am.
So thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much again for the opportunity.
Thank you. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. And let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.